Sup, everybody out there in YouTube land? It's me again. Yeah, I'm not doing a video this time. I just don't really feel like it, just waking up. But yeah, that's awesome. We did the trucker convoy here in Canada, so that's awesome. Good on them. Hopefully this, you know, it's funny how they're like trying to shut down the GoFundMe and it hit like $5 million or whatnot, and they're trying to say, oh yeah, well it needs a better thing, and then the Globe and Mail is trying to attack it, of course, you know. Same people that are trying to discredit the whole fact that people are sick of all the bullshit here in Canada, and I mean people are starting to suffer for it because they're starting to notice it at the shelves. But at the same time, they got to put pressure on the government, and I mean, it's an argument that people could say that this is kind of being designed to bring in the inevitable economic collapse. So kind of playing into it, but at the same time, the elite's got to know that we're not fucking around anymore here in Canada. And I think the outpouring of support just from people that have been going out waiting for hours just in the horrible freaking winter cold that we have up here in Canada in the snow, and just goes to show you how much they support the truckers and how much they are sick of these mandates. And that's what this really comes down to. I mean, the UK has removed most of their stuff, or is in the process of removing their stuff. Many different countries around the world have completely gotten off the bullshit COVID hype. I mean, take Japan for example. They've practically banned the mRNA vaccines, and they've been giving people treatments for when they do get sick. Which is sad because a lot of people here in Canada believe that the ventilators are saving lives, but it's showing to be the opposite. That a lot of people that get put on ventilators end up not getting, de-intubated, which is pretty sad, really, when you think about it. So, I don't know. We're at a crossroads, that's for sure, here in Canada and just in the world, Are you going to put up with slavery, or are you going to fight for freedom? That's what it really comes down to. And I think we all know that now. There really is no getting around it. It's at that point where, they need the great, I guess, economic collapse to start that bullshit Great Reset crap. And, that's all they've been saying is build back better. There's so many compilations of people that are using those talking points of leaders and stuff like that from around the world that are talking about build back better when they have no clue what that actually means aside from communism. Well, I mean, it's still some parts of fascism too. I mean, like I said before, that it's really just, I'm one of those people that believe that fascism and communism are pretty close to the same thing. They just use a little bit of different variations in their means. I mean, it's pretty much authoritarianism, regardless of how you look at both sides. They both censor free speech. I've made this spiel a bunch of times. And it's just crazy to think how people don't think that way anymore. They just, Nazis, everything Nazis is bad. But then at the same time, how come we're going into Ukraine or, defending Ukraine, and it's weird because the leftist media is ready to go to war, and even the mainstream media and even the neocons, they're like, oh, we need to go to war over Ukraine. Why the hell would we want to go to war with a country that has a lot of neo-Nazi sympathies? If we had any party that were doing those little tiki torch things every year thing, I mean, they have a bunch of glowworms or freaking idiots that have been, that were completely heavily, because the same people end up voting for Biden, those people that were doing the whole white supremacist thing. You don't see the media talk about that shit. And the funny thing about the media and that whole white supremacist movement crap is that if there was they're still showing clips from years ago when they had that little Charlotte's, or what was it, they had the little tiki torch march or some bullshit, and they're still showing that shit, on the leftist media. Oh, look at these tiki torching neo-Nazis, oh, they're everywhere. Meanwhile, Ukraine has a thing, I guess, what, Bandera? Is that the name of it? I think so, anyways. But this, one dude who, worked for the Nazis back in the day against the communists. But, hey, at least the Ukrainians have a fucking, I mean, I feel bad for the average Ukrainian. I mean, in a way, they voted for that guy who was kind of like a comedian, just to kind of prove a point that they don't want the left or the right kind of bullshit there. They just kind of want somebody that's going to talk some sort of sensibility and make it livable for the average Ukrainian without making them sign their like entire family's future and legacy and like, you know, prosperity away to either the the UN, which is fucking horrible, and they do all kinds of shit to like, they pretty much give these ridiculous high interest loans to countries, and they know they can't pay them back, and then they get them on this debt based system and end up selling off their assets to pay for it and everything. It's ridiculous. But or the Russians, which obviously you see from the Kazakhstan. You know, like, you don't want the Russians coming in and fucking strong arming shit either. I mean, like, I don't trust any of them. They're all pretty bad to me. I mean, yeah, okay, there's like certain parts that have like different good things and bad things about them, the pros and cons of every kind of, mega superpower, I guess. But, you know, I don't know, that's crazy. But we're definitely gotten to a point where around the world, I think a lot of people are just kind of had enough. I mean, in the States, we're seeing people that are, truck drivers that are coming in to the borders or to the Canada protest or to the DC one that they just had that they're doing. So no wonder why the White House keeps building more freaking concrete barriers around the White House. I guess they're just getting scared. And the funny thing is, Trudeau tries to say that it's just a minority, as if anybody listens to what the fuck that moron has to say. So many people are going out and just supporting these truckers, even though it's like they're noticing, like here in Canada, we're noticing like huge supply chain breakdowns. We used to have kind of things going, but then they, decided to mandate the trucker vaccine thing. That's just a horrible idea, because there's so many different truckers that are independent and are not going to put up with that bullshit, and so now we've just shot ourselves in the foot. And I love how the media keeps trying to say that, like, oh, COVID's overloaded our hospitals. Oh no, COVID's doing all this horrible things, and the supply chain breakdown. Bullshit! It's government fucking mandates that are doing this shit. COVID has nothing to fucking do with the fact that all this fucking shit's getting shut down and fucking people are dying on fucking ventilators and shit. Even the medical fucking protocol bullshit we have here in Canada is a total fucking joke and is meant to murder fucking old people. Can't have any fucking ivermectin or any of that shit, right? Can't have any of that horse paste, as they call it. Meanwhile, Pfizer's coming out with a fucking pill that's practically the same thing molecularly, but that's totally fine because, Pfizer, the leading, how many billions did they pay out? I think they're like the highest paying out company for like all the medical fucking like skullduggery shit that they've done over the past year. Like decades pretty much ever since they've been in power. Or like as a business they've been paying out to like all kinds of horrible medical decisions they've made. But we can totally trust them on this experimental fucking clot shot. Yeah, alright, yeah, I'll believe that when I see it. So it's one of those things where we're in that horrible mess that we've been put ourselves into. And here in Canada, I don't know, we're starting to wake up, and it's refreshing to see people that have actually been like, standing up to this. And there's people that are actually going to Ottawa and stuff, and I think that's a great idea. Of course, the government's trying to put a freeze on it as quick as they can, and putting pressure on the GoFundMe people. Myself, I think they should probably gone with a different fundraiser, but you're talking to like average normies, average Canadians that still think that GoFundMe things or Kickstarters are like, completely unbiased and like, are there to support the causes and help the people that are trying to get but that's not the case. It's like you really have to know like you can't take Patreon, you can't do like GoFundMe or a lot of the ones where you can like give a bunch of money or Kickstarters or even like ones where you help content creators and stuff like that. You really have to be careful which ones you choose, because especially when you have something like this, the pressure's going to be put on by government to, oh no, we can't have the plebs rise. We can't have the fucking average middle class person that's pissed off at the fact that the middle class is being completely destroyed here in Canada and turned into a fucking poor class where you're waiting for government handouts, or you're stuck on the fucking rich fucking end where you happen to have a bunch of different properties that you're renting out to poor people because you're charging ridiculous amounts of rent that you don't even really need to pay your freaking mortgage off, but you're just doing it anyways as a rentier income. And so you turn into the rentier upper class, and then you've got the poor people that are trying to get by and, you know, are taking whatever handouts they can for the most part. You know, I mean, there's a lot of people that here in Canada end up having to take, you know, government subsidies through one way or another. It's just the way that Canadians are kind of told, oh, it's fine, it's totally good, you know, we're not taking it from productive people, you know, pay no attention to the fact that we're taxing everybody to fucking death, and that we're, you know, they talk about how they're increasing the minimum wage, and then all this like inflation hits with the shutting down the pipelines and everything, and we just don't put two and two together. It's like, how there's, you can give people as much money as you want for minimum wage, and if the, you know, access to the goods, you know, the demand is not being met, you know, the supply is, if it's not there, it's gonna go up in price. It's gonna cost people more money to get the stuff that they already had, and it's just gonna make the price, the you know, the worth of the dollar completely useless, which, let's be honest, I mean, it practically needs to go to shit anyways. Like, it's not exactly had a good long run when we're just kind of like, when you look at the purchasing power from like even the 90s during a recession compared to where we're at now with this ridiculous unlimited spending spree. You know, just like a drunken freaking sailor at a port after 2 weeks, you know, it's pretty much, it's not looking good here in Canada. And it's not looking good on the stock market, that's for sure, and that's a global thing. But the stock market's really not really a good way to judge the health of, you know, any kind of real class anyways. It's just, you know, it's a freaking casino gulag system, that's all it is. Oh, my friends are like, oh, I'm losing so much money on my stocks. It's like, well, then why do you buy stocks, you fucking moron? I don't want to tell that to them, to their face, because I'm one of those people where it's like, you know, at least get gold or silver, because at least that has wealth and retains value. And I know people are like, oh, well, yeah, but, you know, somebody can rob you. Well, somebody can easily take shit out of your fucking bank account if you fuck up and give them the wrong information, or if you go to a place and you use one of those scanner, you know, things that you don't even think twice of when you're just trying to pay stuff, and it happens to be like one, you know, that's given all your identification and crap to like India and shit. And, I actually had a recent thing like that. I had to go through a bunch of crap to try to get my freaking bank thing all fixed, because somebody decided to make, like, I don't know how the hell they got my purchases, because I rarely actually buy stuff with my debit card online. So I thought that was kind of weird. But, you know, it is what it is. And, you know, it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, they're trying to push this, you know, digital kind of monetized system. And they're already pushing the digital ID here in Canada. You know, it just so happens to, you know, I guess they'll have it so that it'll match up with the vaccine passport, like we see with a lot of different countries where they're trying to make that kind of like an app thing. And me, I'm never getting a cell phone. I saw this a long fucking time ago. I know exactly what the cell phones are doing to stupid people, because I see them on the bus all the damn time like zombies, just, oh, what did somebody say? Oh, whoa, I gotta check this, oh, I gotta check that, oh, validate me, make me feel good, daddy, like my post. That's pretty much all I see social media as. There really isn't any actual social element to it. It's just a fucking ghetto for people that have the same bullshit ideas, or horrible, whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing. But it's not like you're getting wide variation anymore, you know, like, because most people, they're like, I don't like what you say, especially when it comes to polarizing issues. And then what do? They don't want to hear anything from you on your feed or whatnot, so they just tune out, which is their right too. But at the same time, do we make the debate any kind of, you know, like, are we furthering the cause, or are we just turning it into like a civil war where we're just getting different types of camps and division? Because that's what I'm seeing mostly online, for that crap. That's why I just stayed the hell away from it. Same thing with the cell phones too, because I knew it was going to be used to track us with these bullshit fucking Chinese social credit scores that are coming down the line. So as much as they try to say, this is funny how, if you're living in certain parts of Canada, and apologies to everybody, and I'm sure you're probably dealing this wherever you are. I mean, especially people in the States that are listening to what I'm saying here. Because in the States, they got, like, different, they've at least got, Republican and conservative leaders that are fighting back against this. Ours is just pretty much trying to hold back the amount of, like, authoritarianism that, like, the mainstream media, the opposition parties, like, I thought it was pretty funny how, like, the NDP used to act like they were, like, they're like the kind of like the democratic socialists, They used to be more for, like, oh yeah, we're for, like, strengthening the, like, jobs and stuff, and we're all for, like, the middle class, and, just trying to make it easier so that people can live more, and and as soon as Trump gets in power and then, like, takes out the TPP and, does all these things to protect his own workers, then all of a sudden NDP is like, orange man bad, white people bad, meh, vote for me, liberals. Come on, let's work together. There really is no difference now between the Liberal and the NDPs. Why? Because they team up on everything against the Conservatives. So, like, what's the point of people voting any kind of different orange kind of party here? It's a total joke. And, I mean, it's sad because they used to act like they actually gave a shit about the middle class. Now they're all about, submit to the mask mandate, slave. We must shut down the schools. We must enforce harsher penalties. We must do exactly what Klaus Schwab says. That's pretty much the Canadian Green, NDP, and Liberal Party. And let's be honest, the Conservative Party, which really hasn't done much to help us here, they've maybe said, oh, we shouldn't lock down as hard, or, they've been a little bit more business-minded. But here in Canada, there's so many freaking idiots and Karens that are running the show. And the sad thing is, most of the people in Canada that live away from the big cities are usually conservative-minded, or at least are sick and tired of the high gas prices, the high taxation, the cost of living, the rent. It's ridiculous here. I mean, if you... like, even renting a damn doghouse is like $600 fucking here in Canada. It's gotten so fucking bad. And we're supposed to sit here and take it. And the NDP and all the people on the left say, oh, what we need is more spending. We need to get more government subsidized housing. That'll fix the problem. We're only taking away the fucking, like the value in certain areas. It's just like, the funny thing is, the housing bubble is so propped up here in Canada that the people that are against any kind of relief whatsoever are pretty much against it, because they know that it'll make their little nest egg that they've turned into a rentier class. There's so many people that just keep buying up properties and renting out to people that will never be able to afford a house here in Canada ever. And at least in the States, you can go to some, like, derelict fucking areas where, like, people are getting, like, shut up and shit like that, and you can buy a house for, like, 50 fucking grand or something, and then turn it around and sell it or something, or, obviously it ain't gonna stop the neighborhood from going to shit, but, at the same time, it's at least an opportunity for someone who's, like, somewhat poor to at least get some sort of property of their own. Yeah, they probably got to kick off, and look for needles in their front yard and backyard on a regular basis. Kids don't get into that shit. But, I mean, at least it's some sort of, like, what else do we have in the middle class now? Like they've taken away the ability for regular working class people to ever afford a fucking house of their own. That's like the measure of wealth that we've had for, what, almost 80 years now? 30, like 80, 90 years? They've been looking at how many people are able to find in the middle class to afford, can buy a house to actually see like a measure of how well their country's doing. Well, that's not happening anymore. Nope. No, only the rich people and the property hunters and the people that are the speculators and the Black Rocks and all those assholes, they get to take this into the whatever kind of stratospheric levels of horrible fucking planning we could possibly think of. And here in Canada, there's certain places you can go, and then it's like, even if you want to buy a plot of land here in Canada, it's ridiculous, because if you want to like develop it, the amount of shit you have to go through here in Canada, even if you get like a place in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, compared to what you have to do in the States, is ridiculous. Like you have to like get like somebody to come all the way out to the middle of nowhere to like make sure that it's everything's up to code and septic, and to make sure that you're you can't have it. And there's like a lot of different companies that won't even let you go off the grid here in Canada into different provinces, which is fucking retarded. Or you have to like give into their weird like provincial. It used to be that they'd have like different companies, but now it's all completely, it's all like ran by the government. And usually that's a bad thing for any kind of business. Or heavily, like allowed what they can and can't do. Which is just kind of what we're, seeing nowadays. It's just, I understand not everybody has that ability to make a house from scratch and like put in everything properly and not like, burn the house down with bad electrical fucking hookups and stuff like that. Okay, so I definitely understand there's a certain amount of, making sure you got your bases covered so that you don't kill your entire family in a house fire or some shit, or like have like pipes burst and stuff in the middle of winter and all that crap. I mean, stuff happens, but it's one of those things where we're seeing kind of just this whole global crackdown, and at least some people are starting to see it for what it is and are starting to speak up about it. So that's the one good thing of this trucker convoy thing in Canada has done, is made a lot of people realize that they're not alone, and there's a lot of people that are just sick and freaking tired of these mandates and just this bullshit goalpost moving, and how nothing makes any damn sense, and they can't even like get all the countries in line on this, because like there's plenty of countries that have backed out that usually are on the side of the West. Like, I mean, you can't say that Japan is a backwards nation. I mean, they're one of the most highly technologically advanced countries on the planet. They have, some of the best medical and medicine development. I mean, like even ivermectin won a Nobel Prize for the human drug test that they did, and they did all that stuff there in Japan. And I mean, they have some of the best, I guess, like pathogen research centers and stuff like that. So they've got all this stuff. They know exactly what they've done. And they took the vaccine, and even though they weren't technically supposed to do it, they're like, I'm sorry, I don't care what agreement we're signing. If we're giving this to our population, we want to, see what's inside it first. And so they looked, and they noticed that there's like bunch of like, there's even pieces of like random fucking fiber and shit that shouldn't be there. Like, these vaccines are dirty as fuck. And you got all these morons that are parroting, the government stooges. Like, they just tell some guy who, because he didn't want to get vaccinated for a transplant or something like that, it's just like, oh, well, looks like we're at a crossroads. It's not like, oh, looks like we're about to murder you. Because if that guy even decided to find somebody that felt bad for him and was like, oh, that's bullshit. I got, like, what's your blood type? Oh, I got this blood type. I'll donate a kidney to you. They can't even do that, because to even have someone donate a kidney, you have to go through this fucking long, convoluted process with the fucking, and that goes to show you just how much they do not give a shit about fucking, about our health, about us living. Because, like, oh, God forbid you might get, a fucking Omicron variant where it's like 99.99999% chance of surviving. Oh, no, we can't have that. We have to fucking make sure that you die because you haven't got the clot shot, for your safety and for everyone else's safety. And then you got all these insurance companies that are now looking at trying to penalize the unvaccinated. You got Quebec coming out now, where they're gonna, like, what is Quebec gonna do when they're gonna when they're actually gonna buy extra people to that just goes to show you how Walmart is so fucking corrupt and complacent in this shit. They're gonna hire extra people to go and monitor people that come into the store to make sure that they're only buying food or pharmaceutical stuff. Like, how is that gonna happen? Because one, Walmart barely pays their fucking employees to begin with. They did everything they could to replace half of their work staff with fucking kiosks. So how are they planning on one hiring people that'll actually follow through? Because how many people are gonna be like, I want to be a Walmart annoyer. I want to make sure that it's my job to make sure that only, I think most people that are going to get hired from Walmart are going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever, yeah, that's totally food or, pharmaceutical based. Oh, yes, go ahead, That's what I'd do. If I had I would intentionally get hired by Walmart and then not do my job if I was there. I mean, it would practically be like the basic average Walmart standard of excellence, doing the least amount of shit possible there, because you see a lot of people working at Walmart, and I don't really know. I mean, the cashiers, they do a good job. They're the ones working, but I see a lot of people just walking around aimlessly in those stores. And the funny thing is now that we're going to have a whole bunch of people in Quebec, and I mean, the French are the one people in the world you do not want to, and you know what? This is funny, because as much as people make fun of the French for surrendering, I mean, they have been on this shit. They've been like the yellow vests, in Quebec, they're trying to break there's tons of people getting arrested for breaking the curfew in protest. And, I mean, it's ridiculous that it's a province that is still based on that seigneurial system. So, unfortunately, I mean, they don't have, they do care about their freedoms, but it's more like their basic freedoms. Like, if now they're trying to take those away from people who are unvaccinated. Like, they want to propose only unvaccinated people not being able to buy alcohol or weed, I guess. Which is ridiculous because, one, you'll never be able to stop that. I mean, they've tried to make alcohol and weed illegal before, and it never worked. Prohibition doesn't work. People will find people who are vaccinated in their family who don't agree with this shit, and they'll buy it for them. Or there will always be a black market that arises out of this kind of government clampdowns and control. And they know that, too. I mean, especially in Quebec. Quebec is the one province in Canada where they have, these things called dépanneurs, and it's like a convenience store that sells alcohol and smokes and shit. It's there's no fucking way they're gonna be able to send an employee to, they could probably get people to go out there to see whether or not they're doing it right and find them that way. That's usually how those little snakes do it, or somebody that rats them out or some crap like that, which is usually how it works here in Stasi Canada. But I mean, good luck trying to enforce that on a provincial basis. And I mean, at this point, if people in Quebec say, hey, I can't work, I can't do all this stuff, and they start rebelling and shit, and, start burning fucking buildings down, I got no problem with that. I don't condone it, obviously, but at the same time, I mean, it's getting to that point where they're making it impossible for us to live, and if people start doing fucking violent shit, people are gonna start fucking doing violent shit. I mean, that's just the way it is, especially the French. I mean, you could have done this in any other province, and you probably wouldn't have had nearly as much of a pushback as what you're getting in Quebec. And, it's because of that whole French, and it's weird because at the same time, they elected a provincial government that actually seemed like they were going to be, more level-headed and, more, not as authoritarian. And sure enough, now that this thing's going down, they've gone, extreme authoritarian, so they've pretty much thrown the whole credibility they have as a party under the bus. But it's here in Canada, there is no, oh, maybe we've overblown this, maybe we've gone about this the wrong way. At least in the States, they have plenty, that discussion is on the table. They'll be like, oh yeah, it's a Fox News talking point, or more Republican, stuff like that, more right-wing. But at least there's more of a conversation in the States about whether or not these mandates either work or should be in place, or it's turned. I mean, obviously, the Democratic areas have turned completely Orwellian, and at least your Supreme Court has kind of said no, they shouldn't. Struck down a good portion of mandates that they've been trying to push down everybody's throat, but at the same time, you see Biden trying to be like, at the same time, all this talk about the left about Trump being a Nazi, and then what is Biden doing? He's literally going after half of the country, calling them terrorists. He's literally going after these, like, farmers that, like, because of the way that the state's, like, system and farming and agricultural thing is set up, there's a lot of farmers that are on subsidization. And now, under the Biden regime, he's going to make it so that only black people and Latino are going to be getting a lot of these things. Like, you won't, like, pretty much white people, straight white people are screwed. And the funny thing is that they have absolutely no requirements for people that want to get these subsidies and become farmers. They don't have to have any experience whatsoever, which to me is so stupid, because you're removing people and practically making it so that they can't live. They sell off their farms, and then you have people that don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're like, the government's giving me subsidies. All right. Not thinking anything about it. The fact that shit's probably going to change, when somebody else gets in down the road or whatnot. But it's just going to do nothing but destroy the whole freaking production. You're taking people that know what they're doing, know how to farm, and you're pretty much making it so they can't farm anymore, and then replacing it with people that don't know what the fuck they're doing and just want government handouts, because I'm sure that will never go wrong and has never gone wrong before in the past. When you look at, Mao or Stalin, or it's funny how, like, the horrible communistic principles and the fascist principles of, like, let's say Biden saying, oh, okay, I've lost the Supreme Court argument, so I'm going to encourage corporations to implement my fascist authoritarianism, and absolutely silence on the left. No media being like, oh my god, this is dangerous, this is a slide towards fascism. Nope, none of that. No, in fact, it's more like, you're all obedient slaves, and anybody who doesn't take this shit as anti-vax, or, like how they fucking frame the argument. Here in Canada, they don't even, like, give the other side of the argument. They'll give, like, little bits of criticism, but then they'll say, oh, but Health Canada said so it's okay. It's fine. Okay, we got somebody that had their stomach completely get all weirded out by this thing, and they have to have a tube and a system to filter out all the stuff that they're eating for the rest of their life. That is just a rare effect. Yeah, this 88 stillbirths that happened, or 80 some odd stillbirths that happened in, like, one hospital or some sort of thing, when there's, like, maybe a few per month or whatnot. A huge increase, 3 times now? They're saying a 3 times increase in cancers that they're noticing from people that have taken these shots. It's ridiculous. And the funny thing is, those studies, when you try to cite those studies on Twitter or Facebook, you get censored hardcore. Because that's, apparently that's how science works now. Through mass censorship of anything that criticizes or has any kind of evidence or any kind of things that we should, like, maybe look into, for that whole, Socratic method of how we used to go about dialectics to figure out how to, what was based in reality, what was objective, and what wasn't. That's all thrown out the damn window now. So that's going to be fun to see how this happens, and this goes into the, wild world of wacky that we've gone into now. Now that it seems that they're trying to focus more on the Ukrainian thing, it's been a bit of a pivot. But as much as they try to say, oh, we're easing up restrictions here, and now they're saying, oh, now we're allowed to have a little bit of dining, 50% people in the indoor dining, after they just keep doing these goalpost things where they, like, for the Omicron variant, they shut down in dining here. Like, it makes no sense. And it's bad enough I have to wear a mask, because we're so brainwashed here that, you can't even claim a mask exemption. I've tried. Like, some places will let you through with it, but some places will be like, we don't care, wear a mask. So it's like, damn. And I'm one of those people where it's like, I barely go out now, and I don't support any of these asshole businesses that are following these mandates and stuff like that. To be honest with you, I have gotten to the point now where I don't have a lot of money. I maybe go out like a couple times a month. Most of the time is to get groceries, and the other time is maybe to help with another batch of groceries that get bought later on in the month or whatnot. Or, I have even really been going to, even when they had it open for about, I think it was about like 6 months or whatnot before they decided to just close down recently and have like where you can do indoor dining. And I'm at the point now where I don't even like support local businesses. Or, like, I mean, if I had more money, I would, but, like, everybody's gone completely authoritarian with this. They've completely complied with this shit, and I don't support those people. They've done it to themselves. I understand as a business owner that when you get mandated, there's really no choice you have, but there's always that choice to say, no, the government's wrong. This is wrong, and, organize something. And there was a lady who I talk to and keep in contact with regularly, who's fighting back against these mandates, and she was a business owner, and she had a hell of a time trying to find anybody in this area, in this entire county, that was willing to stand up and say, no, these mandates are bullshit. We're gonna open, and you can kiss our ass, because they're a conservative here, but they're very they're very cowardly. There's no balls here in Oxford County, and that's a sad thing to say. I was hoping that more conservatives would be a little bit willing to, and if you talk to them, and this is what pisses me off about, like, here I am, like, I get a little, for a while I was kind of like making fun of people in my town, and just kind of like, because I'm a pariah. They see me, and I have my shirts, and I'm the person where if I'm walking around, people are either going to love me or they're going to hate me, because I have my Wowan shirt that has that I got from, like I said before in some of my videos, I got from Badass Uncle Sam, and it shows a dude with a mask on saying "slave in training," and that pisses people off to no end. Especially when they had this whole thing here in with the Black Lives Matter riots. They had a tenth of the town of the entire city go out to the little Black Lives Matter protest. Oh yeah, oh Floyd, oh we love you Floyd, oh yeah, you fucking fucking fiend, and who fucking did all kinds of horrible shit and fucking robbed a fucking pregnant lady at gunpoint. Like, what? Fuck those guys. I'm sorry, but that little George Kirby guy deserved everything he fucking got, and I really don't give a shit. I'm sorry. I don't fucking support people who are fucking scumbag pieces of shit that rip off their fucking community, that fucking hurt their own fucking people, and then we're supposed to act like they're this fucking, the new saint. We need to replace Martin Luther King Day with fucking George Floyd. Fuck that shit. And I mean, Martin Luther King wasn't even perfect. He had all kinds of weird orgies. He watched a guy fucking rape a chick in front of him, and then was giving him, like, pointers on, but at the same time, he also, was one of those people that were talking about how he believed that, everybody should be together. He wasn't saying that the future is segregation. He was fighting segregation, but yet now, if you're anti-racist, apparently you love how everything has to be put into a racial context, and how everything has to be put in that pyramid oppression, a hierarchy of who happens to be more oppressed than the others that happens to change on a fucking bi-weekly basis now. So, I mean, we're at a point where we're fucked. Let's be honest. Like, nobody wants to have an honest fucking conversation about shit or change their ways about things. They're just stuck in their little social media ghettos, and they don't give a shit. And that's what it really comes down to. They act like, oh, we care so much. Oh, we don't know why these people aren't doing what we want. They're just being so unreasonable. But when you ask them, okay, and there's so many times that I talk to people who are very much on board this fucking censorship shit, we need to do this, everybody needs to get vaccinated, all those people, they will not even know what any of our arguments are on the other side. They will not take that time to watch the full 2 to 3 hour, or even like the small segments of people who are the doctors that have been speaking out against this, showing the different studies and stuff, or doing like a really kind of like either a 20-minute explanation thing. Oh, that's just too much. Oh, that's just too much. You're just asking too much out of the fucking know-it-all science. Science is our god types. They'll sit there and they'll go off on their authoritarian rants about how evil we are and shit like that, but they won't take any fucking time to consider the reasons why we're doing what we're doing. Now, I understand exactly. Like, I mean, that's all. If you are well researched on the anti-vax side of this fucking mRNA fucking clot shot rollout, then you know that not only has the CDC been completely unfucking reliable, they've wish-washed on so many different issues. Whether or not it's masks, whether or not it's kids getting fucking taking these shots, whether or not it's ridiculous the amount of stuff that they have either had people come out in their own organization and say countering things. I mean, there's been tons of people from the FDA, CDC, former vice president of fucking Pfizer, has came out against this shit and has been practically trying to sound the alarm, and they get censored. Or there's doctors that were afraid, even when Trump was in power, we're getting censored because of this whole freaking New World Order deep state rollout. And I'm sorry, Trump got robbed, but he's one of those narcissistic dickheads who will never admit that he fucking got tricked into this rollout thing. And down the road, when it comes out to it, I'm sorry, but the people, I mean, even I was on board for Trump. I wanted him to win because you get one or two options in the States, pretty much. You don't get a whole lot of party options. So you kind of have to swallow the fucking, all the shit that you don't want to eat, on top of the stuff that actually might, be what you want or is with your beliefs. So it's I understand why people on the left are voting for the left, because they obviously don't like the right or whatnot. But at this point, it's Trump did do the best he could, but I mean, everything that he did do, I really do like. But at the same time, any leader that can't admit that he's wrong, and when he needs to be a little bit of a little bit of humility, or a little bit of you can be a badass, but you have to be honest. The thing about Trump was that the reason why he criticized a lot of people is, you go in, somebody even as Trump, who's had bankruptcies and stuff like that. If you go into a political arena and everybody's fucking corrupt and full of shit, it makes you look like the golden boy. It makes you be you can go out there and call them on all their bullshit, and what, they can call you on a couple business finance things? That's not business and finance. Most people see that as just guys trying to create jobs or to make wealth for themselves. They don't necessarily or inherently think, especially in the States, that allows people to, pull themselves up with their own bootstraps and their own, their own will, and be successful. A lot of people don't see that as necessarily an evil or corrupt bad thing. I mean, obviously people that were on the left did, because, Orange Man Hitler, even though Biden is doing everything fucking more authoritarian at least 100 fucking times than Trump ever did, because at least Trump was trying to get the states to do their own thing. Biden, nope. Entire national fucking vaccine mandate. And luckily that thing got thrown down. But I mean, apparently another court judge or something is thinking of stepping down. So who knows what kind of shit's going to happen from this. And I mean, at this point, the Supreme Court did absolutely fuck all when it came to the actual evidence of election meddling, where it counts. You can have all these, Supreme Court judges that decide things in the states on, ridiculous kind of merits. You know that they're always going to be politicized, and the main issues, the things that really fucking matter, rarely ever get decided on, because that just goes to show you how controlled this whole globalist thing is, and how brainwashed people are. A lot of my leftist friends, they don't see it. They don't see the fact that everything, what, Neil Young now is freaking out on Spotify. Who fucking cares about Neil Young? I mean, I like his music. I can sing some of his songs because I have a high voice, and I do like the fact that he was, at his time and stuff, but you know, at the same time too, when you become the establishment, like, you're not a rock and roller anymore. You know, you're not that counterculture voice that was supposed to be for freedom. You know, keep on rocking in the free world. It's like, keep on rocking in the Facebook world. Just don't say anything that we don't like. It's pretty much what it is now. It's fucking sad. You know, I mean, all these people that, you know, were talking about freedom and, you know, like, you know, kicking the authoritarian system are now, like, the people, like the Rolling Stones, for example, like doing, like here they are, like, back in the day, they were all anti-establishment, anti, you know, war, all this crap, and now they're siding up with the people that, oh, take your vaccines, oh, listen to the Democrats, you know, it's just like, come on, man, like, stop fucking pulling the ladder up on everyone and acting like you didn't fucking, you know, fight for freedom and against the counter fucking, you know, like if you were part of the counterculture beforehand. So it's definitely one of those things that has gotten to a point where, I mean, I do think that a civil war is going to happen in one of the countries soon. I mean, well, right now in Germany, they're about to go door to door. Austria too. So, I mean, you're going to start, I wouldn't be surprised if people start shooting back at the police over there because, I mean, they're going door to door to either force vaccinate people, arrest them if they don't take the vaccine, or take their kids away. Sorry. I'm sorry. But there is only a certain amount of nonviolence that you're going to get from a population. When you start trying to take their kids away or trying to get them to do stuff that they don't want and they have a serious fucking problem with en masse, then you're asking to get fucking your government buildings burnt down. You know, I mean, the police should be the people most concerned about this, you know, as opposed to just being, you know, we're just tools of the government. We just do what we're told. Because you're the ones who are going to be putting yourselves in risk. And that's the sad thing about it, because, I mean, I don't want police to get shot, you know, doing their job, you know, in any regards. I don't want anybody to get killed doing what they gotta do. You know, I mean, obviously you're gonna have bad elements and, you know, prisoners and wardens in any kind of society or system. It's just human nature. It's how we work, unfortunately. But you need to have that ability for people to at least live somewhat free, and that is being completely taken away with these vaccine mandates and stuff. And as much as you try to tell people that are on board this, you know, it's weird. It's the people that are just, it's that, you know, ancient argument that you know, from the beginning of philosophy, from all the different Aristotelian, Platonic, Platonic looking at things, you know, I mean, like, whether or not you're into, like, different types of, you know, frames of philosophy, it's always came down to people give up their power and their say, and they allow shit to happen to the state because of two reasons. It's either the security that they get promised that they never get, or it's the other bit of the whole government thing where it should be allowing people to be more free and more productive and more entrepreneurial. And those are in constant conflict with each other, because as soon as you say that, oh, we need to do things for the, you know, to keep people safe, then you can justify taking away their freedoms. But if you are in a completely Orwellian, where you don't have any kind of choice whatsoever, you know, people who have a mind of their own, intellectuals, are going to want more freedom. They're going to want less control. They're going to want more ability to be able to provide for their families without having to worry about a state enterprise. You know, that's pretty much what it's always been for philosophy when you think about it. I mean, well, the thing about philosophy too is that it's interesting because it has, like, the whole idealism versus materialism debate too, which is kind of interesting. So, and that also goes to, like, just the nature of the universe with science too. I mean, materialism and idealism is still a thing. I mean, there's plenty of you know, quantum mechanics physicists and people out there. Oh, sorry if you hear the dog barking in the background. She's a bit of a pain in the ass, but yeah, I love her though. She's a good dog. She just barks at everything that she doesn't like. But anyways, yeah, it's gotten to one of those things where it's you know, it's crazy. The world has just gone completely nuts. There's really no way that anybody can really fight this aside from calling it out for what it is. I mean, we have to become complete social pariahs. And I have no problem doing that. I have became a social pariah, mostly because of the shirts that I wear. People in my neighborhood know that I'm very much anti-vax and against these. And you know what? I wasn't even anti-vax. They just keep changing the definition so that now apparently I'm anti-vax because I look up the definition of it, and I'm not for mandates. It used to be before that you were just against like types of vaccines and stuff like that. And I've been watching Alex Jones for years, and I mean, I do like how they and other channels and stuff out there, but they will report on people that get messed up from different types of vaccines or whatnot, because there's bad batches of shit, and I think it's good that they do that, because those are showing you the people that actually are the victims of this whole, crony capitalist and global New World Order enterprise. Those are the people who are the victims, the ones that got conned into believing that this stuff was for their own safety, for their own good, and then they end up getting horribly, mutilated or die from these fucking medical experimentations from these big fucking pharma companies that don't give a shit. And I mean, I'm not giving them complete crap, because sometimes big pharma does do a lot of good stuff for people, but I mean, they're a very corrupt corporation that is looking for pretty much the bottom line. Like, I mean, there's certain things where, yeah, okay, I understand the difference between a corporation, like trying to get but if you add a health element into it, it's a little bit different than just trying to make money off there, because in a way, I mean, if you look at The Art of War, it is like the quintessential thing to read or to know if you're into business or economics. And if you really listen to The Art of War, there is no like, okay, yeah, after you've gotten your enemy completely, pretty much like partially obliterated, yeah, maybe you should like let them ease up to let them have their own thing, to at least make it not look like you're completely authoritarian. Nope. Sun Tzu is like, crush them, crush any and all opposition before they have a chance to, same thing with Machiavelli too. It's like if you take power, then you have to like take out all your rivals and challengers first. In a power, in a display of brute force and power, because if you keep fighting them for a long period of time, the public opinion might sway against you, which happens a lot, and that's just human nature. It's a weird psychological chimp fucking biology that we have in our brains that make a lot of people just kind of like reason that way, and it's weird. It really is. It's like we're in a giant zoo, and the freaking people that are feeding us from fucking cages are the ones holding the, are the ones that are dictating how the day is going to go. So, 3 o'clock, all right, make your way down to the panda enclosure while we destroy this third world nation country, and it's for your own viewership and entertainment value, of course, yes. Pay no attention to the starving Ukrainian panda. Oh my god, I don't know. It's ridiculous. I know it was kind of a weird analogy or whatnot that I was just talking about there, but it is a fucking clown world shit show that we're living in. And at least people, that's how you pretty much try to convince people, but I mean, there's plenty of people that you can talk to and you can't convince, or they have their own, or they're kind of on the same board, which is weird too, because there's so many people that I have actually kind of like talked to about this thing over the last 2 years. And once you start talking to them about, like, all the things that make absolutely no sense about this shit, they kind of start being like, oh, yeah. No, I kind of see where you're coming from. But you need to get vaccinated. Oh, yeah, but you're killing people. Oh, yeah, but, you got to do this now. We're all in this together, You're just going to make it go out longer. It's like, we've fucking killed off millions of people in the second and third world country. No mention of it on the news. That's what pisses me off about this, and I keep ranting and keep using the same thing there, with the whole fact that we, all these leftists that were talking about Black Lives Matter that have practically killed off a good portion of the third and second world countries, but because no celebrities have been, talking about the poor people, or even the fact that there's been more civil fucking wars going on in like Latin America, fucking Africa countries. There's been at least like a dozen freaking countries that have had like ridiculous turmoil or huge political upheaval, or people have been like murdering each other because of these fucking like all the secondary consequences of all this bullshit lockdowns and stuff from this global fucking totalitarian regime. The New World Order, the medical professionals that have all your best interests in mind. They would never do anything bad. They would never hurt you. They would never see you as cattle or overpopulated. No. So, I'm just so fucking sick of it, to be honest with you. Like, me, myself, I'm all about, trying to tell people. But, I mean, that's all I can do. I'm just some crippled dude, doing the best I can, talking into a fucking microphone or a camera. Posting it. For a while there, I wasn't even posting it on YouTube and stuff like that, because it's a fucking exercise in futility. One, if you ever get if you're ever on the big main platforms and you get famous or make something video that goes viral, gets seen by a bunch of people, then automatically you just get a target on your back. You don't get promoted. You get shadow banned and shit. And then, your entire freaking, you get people that are ordering pizzas and stuff to your house and stuff like that independent news guy who almost quit too. And I don't know if you, even listen to me or whatnot, or probably, 55 minutes into this thing when I'm about to end it soon. Obviously not, but I say, hey, man, keep doing your thing out there. I mean, it's all you really can do. And at least down the road, if we lose this and it comes down to that whole kind of weird technocratic hellacious society and I'm getting my ass put in a fucking prison camp, well, at least I can, maybe make some good friends in there before they fucking end me, because I am not going to put up with this shit. I am not going to listen to these globalist pricks that fly around in these private jets telling everybody else that we're fucking ruining the world and that we're, having too many kids while they have these fucking multiple fucking families, multiple wives, friends with weird Epstein people and fucking that are having these weird compounds that they manage to extort money out of people and use to have these weird cloning facilities where they're trying to make a master race of their own fucking type of people. It is fucking beyond eugenics, beyond ridiculousness, and beyond any credibility that I will ever look at anybody in the fucking media, the government, even mostly police, at least local police officers. I do feel for them, because they got to put up with a whole bunch of bullshit and domestic disputes and fucking sex abusers and all kinds of those fucking people that deserve to be fucking let at the end of the goddamn rope if I had my fucking way. But anyways, it's crazy that there's just really no way to it seems like we can't really come back from this. I mean, we just had we just had an election where people here in Canada voted for the exact same way they did before after all of this shit. So, I mean, I do love the fact that we got some truckers, and hey, man, keep trucking. I love you truckers, you badass mofos. I know even people, I even knew a lesbian couple that were truckers, and they're doing their thing through my clan. And even they're these mandates are bullshit and are affecting our business, and you know what I mean? It's not so much as a white thing as that they're trying to like that's what I do like about this trucker thing. Because I mean, even Jagmeet Singh, one of his relatives, ended up putting $13,000 into the GoFundMe thing just to spite him, because Jagmeet Singh's a fucking jagoff, and there's tons of there's tons of Indian and Sikh drivers that are happy with the way things are, and they don't want all these mandates and shit, or they're really religious and they don't think they should put Bill Gates poison into their bodies. And I mean, Bill Gates has done all kinds of horrible fucking things through his polio shots that everyone in the world in the West was like, oh, the philanthropist Bill Gates, he's eliminating polio. But yet now they're getting all the polio is coming from these weird oral shots that they've been giving them and stuff, and crippled, I think, 40,000 freaking Indian kids or something, and counting probably. So who knows, man? I don't trust anything the government or Big Pharma and them really come out with. I mean, they have a certain function in society they're supposed to be filling, that they kind of fill to the bare minimum, if that, and then the rest of it is just propaganda and making you believe that everything is wonderful and that they can do no wrong, and that we live in a modern society and nothing, with a horrible plan could possibly be implemented on the regular people, you know, the corporations and the governments would never do that. So, I don't know. As they're beating women around the world for not having their proper vaccine passport, or, you know, going into a place trying to get food when they're unvaccinated. Oh no, the big crime. Oh no. That is ridiculous. We've gone completely batshit crazy. But anyways, that's my rant for an hour. I'm gonna leave it there. And thanks for listening to me. For anybody that actually like took it out and actually like listened to what I had to say. So I appreciate that. I know a lot of people do things in like short video form, and I probably should do that. But at the same point, I really don't care. I'm not really doing this for you know, to get like the fame and the fortune and all that crap. I don't care. I'm just doing this to keep myself sane. Just ranting into something that'll actually listen to me, because, well, most of the people where I am, you know, either be like, oh, okay, yeah, I see where you're coming from, and they kind of agree, and they know that I'm right, but then they don't have the balls to come back and, like, you know, do anything about it, or to you know, tell their friends, or to spread the word, you know. So it's just me doing my thing here in a supposedly conservative writing. So what can you do? Well, I guess that's what makes me kind of different from most of the people out there, because I don't fall in any really kind of category. The best I can describe myself is I'm an anti-authoritarian, you know, center-right libertarian. That's pretty much the best way I can describe myself. It's just crazy, though. But, I mean, there are certain things that I do have that authoritarian stride in the back of my head, where if I was put in power, I would probably have gone a lot harder on the deep state than Trump did in the States. Or, you know, I mean, how do you even go about, you know, turning the whole communist freaking authoritarian, you know, can't say anything about the crown Commonwealth country here in Canada? Because you would practically have to get rid of almost every fucking prick in fucking politics to be able to change things here in Canada against this globalist fucking thing. And it's ridiculous. I mean, I keep trying to go, you know, I volunteered with Maxine Bernier, you know, for the PPC. And, I mean, hey, you know what? People can talk about Maxine having some sort of globalist thing as a conservative before all this stuff, but he's came out against this. And when it came to, you know, where it matters is when the crisis happens, he's been the one party in the Libertarians that have been outright calling this shit out for what it is from day one. And so that's why I'm voting PPC, and that's why I volunteered for PPC, and that's why I put the signs out at my lawn, even though it pissed off a whole bunch of conservatives and pissed off a whole bunch of liberals. I didn't have many friends, because, oh, I wasn't going to vote conservative, when everybody votes conservative, even though it's the same fucking idiots that have helped, you know, practically put these lockdowns down, all these bullshit measures, and have helped the fucking New World Order practically become, you know, put their chains around our fucking necks. And we're supposed to, oh, thank you, conservatives. Oh, thank you for putting up a little bit of resistance, for not going completely like Manitoba, for not going completely like Quebec. Oh, but, like, what, we're supposed to be thankful for you, like, not putting us in a fucking gulag as fast as the rest of the other parties? And I'm supposed to be happy for it? Fuck them. No, and all the people that fucking back the conservatives and think that they have their best, you know, like, measures in mind? No. They don't give a shit about you. They give a shit about your fucking votes. They talked about, oh, open for fucking business. Oh, Ontario finally open for business. And then he fucking closed all the damn businesses multiple times through, what, like 4 or 5 different fucking lockdowns that we've had? No, I mean, if you're gonna get elected, do what you're fucking elected to do. How is that fucking rocket science here in Canada? Seems to be rocket science pretty much everywhere on the fucking planet, too, because you get these corrupt assholes that fucking manage to manipulate people through the fucking media and through whatever means possible, and through people's own perceived fucking laziness and bullshit perceptions, and they come out on top. They get to ruin our fucking lives. They get to fucking push that boot down on our fucking neck a little harder. Oh, and then when we start to get a little unionized, oh, when we start to get together, when we start to, well, not unionized, but I mean, when we start to unite, you know, we start to, you know, get the average people start to get their will be known in any way, shape, or form, then We gotta shut that shit down. They're white supremacist terrorists. Oh, Antifa can burn entire fucking cities down for years, and that's totally fine, and that's mostly peaceful. But God forbid you have people that are anti-authoritarian or anti-state that make any kind of anything that goes against that basic fucking authoritarian wall of the establishment, and they get fucking destroyed. They're not allowed to do it. Oh no, we can't have GoFundMe give $5 million to those poor truckers. You know, those truckers that don't have a fucking job anymore. Oh no, we can't give money to those people so that they can fucking feed their families or to pay for the gas to go, you know, conduct in a protest, which is their fucking democratic right to do. You know, when we should be able to allow people to have their grievances. No, can't do that. But if you do anything that pisses off the establishment, oh, too much, oh, you're a terrorist, oh, you need to get imprisoned, you need to get the book thrown at you, you need to be removed from society, as if these fucking pricks that are just fucking vampires that are sucking off the teat of productive fucking people around the fucking world that have no fucking accountability, that have no fucking sense of what it is to actually own just a regular house and to pay fucking regular bills and shit like that. These people have fucking multi-billion dollars, $1 million, and they're telling us how to fucking live our lives. And they're telling, oh, we know what's best. Oh yes, you must listen to us. I am Klaus Schwab. I am the German. I know what is going on. Yes, I have the technocracy power in me. Yes, not God gave me this. No, I was born with it. So the rule, because I am the technocrat. We must eliminate 80% of the population. We must eliminate the democratic will of the people. That's what these people are saying. The same people that are making these fucking policies, that are the Imperial fucking College, all those people connected to the fucking UN and the World Health Organization and the whole Davos group, they're all best friends. They shake hands at each other. They have little parties once a fucking year, drinking champagne and eating caviar while they fucking choke us to fucking death. And we're supposed to take that shit fucking peacefully? I'm sorry. Enough's a fuck enough. Non-violent fucking resistance the best you can. But if people start burning shit down, people start burning shit fucking down. And I know it won't be me because I try to take things in the most non-violent possible way possible. You know, I don't like to, you know, I got a family. I don't like the idea of going out and destroying your own fucking country. But at the same time, we don't have any political recourse. You know, nobody here is giving any, like, the media is completely controlled by the fucking government. You can't have an independent right-wing, like, Sun Media. Like, they were doing all right. They were making money. They were getting plenty of donations. But the CRTC just decided, oh, no, we can't have an actual conservative outlet on our fucking, on our Canadian airwaves. Oh, the Communist fucking Broadcast Corporation of Canada. Oh, we can't have anybody out there to, you know, to counter that bullshit fucking multicultural narrative of some gay fucking Muslim fucking bitch who's telling us all how we gotta, you know, live our lives and is disseminating the news to the average people when fucking she's got, like, blonde hair and, like, doesn't give a shit about any of her fucking values. She's just parroting, talking fucking globalist viewpoints. That's what it is. They just find people, oh, well, you're from this and this group, so we'll market that towards the demographics of Canada. Like, that's pretty much what all the CBC shows are. It's just Kim's Convenience marketed toward the Asians, and the, you know, like, I guess technically now Asians is a very high umbrella term, because God forbid we say anything bad about those you know people that like to blow things up. A little bit different from, let's say, somebody in South Korea as opposed to somebody who lives in you know, like Afghanistan, for example. But yeah, we have to call them Asians now. Because just we gotta warp all of fucking reality. We gotta warp all of the objectiveness of what, like, actually happens in the real world. And we have to take all the bullshit fucking theory from all the cultural Marxist crap and then put it into fucking here in Canada. And I don't like the ethno way of looking at things. For me, If you're a Canadian citizen, then yeah, you're a Canadian citizen. I don't care where the fuck you come from. That's really not the issue. The issue is that our government specifically uses race to put like people from different countries and different religions into certain areas to use that to actually manipulate votes in this country, so that they put it in certain areas where the people have absolutely no fucking say that are in the middle class. Like, pretty much, Ontario runs off of what Toronto believes. Like, Toronto just dictates all this bullshit to all the other different counties, and we have to pretty much follow it one way or another. Or, like, they have some councils, like here in Woodstock, they've been trying to prevent a lot of the subsidized housing bullshit that they're trying to enforce from Toronto. And I mean, it's one of those things where the Conservatives here, they don't want things to change because they don't want their property values to go under, because that's what they only really give a shit about here. The Conservatives only give a shit about how much their fucking little property bubble's worth. And when it fucking pops, I'm gonna laugh my fucking ass off at those fucking useless pieces of shit, because they fucking deserved it. They caused the fucking thing in the first place. So, I'm pretty pissed off, but, I'm always gonna try to just talk to people, do my little channel here this way, and tell people, to, try to do it through the democratic process as best as we can. But, it's getting to the point where, these assholes try to keep with more. If we turn into Australia, fuck it. I think we all have the right to fucking rise up against our fucking government and start burning shit down if it comes down to that. And I don't give a shit if I go fucking jail for saying this, because it's the fucking truth. I am not letting these fucking Nazi fucking commie pricks ruin my fucking lives or the lives of my fucking nieces. This is bullshit. If we can't even fucking go out and have political fucking, we're trying to get people on board in this shit, and I don't even know if we can trust our elections. I'm sorry, but when we just had all this bullshit, and then people vote the same fucking way, almost the exact same fucking way for the most part, I'm sorry, I don't trust our elections. Look at the states. Well, they fucked their elections up, and there's plenty of evidence to prove it. And I mean, we've got Dominion here. The reason why the PPC is its own party, as opposed to still connected to the Conservatives, is because of the Dominion voting that they had at the leadership thing. So, I mean, I am so fucking sick of this government. I am so fucking sick of the media, the fucking, and not just the people from CBC here in Canada that nobody fucking watches their bullshit anyways. And like CBC, the most racist fucking people on the fucking planet, because they're all about, diversity quoting, or they'll tell people, don't apply for this if you're white, or, and that's just as fucking racist as anything fucking else. We need to have one fucking system for everybody, and if the rich people fuck it up, they don't get a little fucking, pat on the back, you're in a privileged thing, so we're only, no, they need to get fucking thrown in fucking jail the same fucking way as anybody else does. But that shit doesn't fucking happen anymore. No, we're all told, we're all told that we're bad for being born, or we're good for being born in certain things that are beyond our fucking control. So. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at there because I'm just ranting at this point. But, I mean, how much longer are we going to take this shit for? For me, I'm going to be as peaceful as possible myself. I'm just saying that, you push a population like Venezuela, for example. I mean, they're still trying to do things politically. But there's so many different political parties and organizations there, I think that it's eventually going to turn into a civil fucking war. And as much as a civil war is a bad thing, maybe if they, once they kill the fucking pricks that are holding all the fucking food and all the cards, and they actually allow it so they can get some sort of responsible fucking government in there, hey, it'll be better for the people of Venezuela. They won't have to eat their fucking cats and their dogs and shit like that. But there may be some violence and fucking put into that, and I'm just saying, that's probably how it's gonna go. That's what happens. A hungry mob is a fucking hungry mob. And you keep pushing people, and you keep putting their fucking foot on their goddamn necks, and you know what? Some people, like the Jews or whatnot, they went along with it. Aside from a couple, times where I think they had like an armed uprising where they managed to get a pistol or something like that in Warsaw. Obviously, they all got murdered, but at least they put up a fucking fight. They're going to get murdered anyways. And you think people would know that history from lesson, that lesson from history, and would see where this is going and be like, no, we don't want this to get to the point where we're othering people and putting them into ghettos. We're already doing it online. We're already doing it through the banks. They're eliminating people that they don't like. What, the Ezra Levant here in Canada, the Royal Bank of Canada, denied him like some sort of thing just because of his political affiliations. So I mean, there's gonna be a time where the blood starts fucking flowing, and you know what? You fucking deserved it, you authoritarian pricks. You fucking deserve every drop of fucking blood that gets rest out of your fucking useless fucking parasitic fucking body. And that you can take to the fucking bank. Peace out.